Many times we find that whenever we want to respond to what God is saying, or we want to respond to his instructions or to his dictates or his precepts, what we find is that 90% of the time we want to do it from a place of convenience. We want to do it from a place of comfort. I mean, if it's God that said it, it should be easy. If God says I should do this, that means, I'm going to not pass through any form of hardship or any form of process whatsoever. But that's not true. Actually, when God calls you to do something, many times it could be, not every time, but it could be most primarily from a place of discomfort. And when God takes you out of your comfort zone, it's because he wants to take you to somewhere new, filled with, great and precious promises. Like he said to Abraham, leave your father's house and go and, sojourn to a land that I will show you. Now, God never tells Abraham the land that he is going. He simply tells him, he calls the name of the place, a place that I will show you. So many times when God gives you an instruction, the instruction is not complete. But what happens is that he equips a man as he goes. God never equips a man before he goes. God equips the man as he goes. Even some of you that want to get, engage into ministry and begin to do the work of the Lord, listen to me. You are not going to have everything. You are not going to know everything. You are not going to experience everything. Yes, you are going to make mistakes. I mean, Abraham only arrived at full faith just before he had Isaac. So you find Abraham, having to sleep with Hagar to bet Ishmael and all of that. But you still see in the New Testament that the Bible declares that Abraham staggered not at the promises of God. So, Abraham only arrived at full faith much later. So, but that's not the topic we are going into today. The point is that when God tells you to go to a land that he will show you, you have to go in faith. You have to, a land that I will show you determines is significant or indicative of a place that God has prepared for you that is beyond your comfort. Your father's house is your comfort zone. When it says Abraham, leave your father's house, he's saying, Abraham, leave what you are used to, leave the norm, leave what you have been used to, what you are accustomed to, and let me take you on a walk. Walk with me, talk with me, and I will show you great and precious things. You understand? So God has an eternal plan for you. God has an eternal plan for man. God has an eternal plan for the earth. But the thing is, to respond to God's dictate and God's instruction, we have to be willing to leave and arise out of our comfort zone and sojourn with him, sojourn with the Spirit. The Bible says, as Jesus was baptized by John from the Jordan, that the Spirit of God drove him into the wilderness. That means, imagine after heaven announcing you, heaven is like, this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. Everybody was like, whoa, Jesus, this guy is epic. This guy, Jesus, he's the plug. Let's follow this guy. Heaven has announced him. And the next thing you find is that the Spirit of God driveth him into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. What? That means when you allow yourselves to be sojourned by God, to sojourn with God rather, what he does is that he takes you to unpredictable places that eventually will lead to your glorification. Look at what happened. After Jesus died on the cross, he himself also thought it was finished. Glory, hallelujah. He was like, Father, from what you said and from, I followed the plan up until this point and really I'm sure it is finished. And then he gave up the ghost. Guess what happened? He woke up in Hades, spent 3 days there, collected the keys of death. So you find out that God takes you on journeys that many times are not predictable, but you have to let yourself be yielded and just follow the leading of the Spirit, and you definitely arrive at a glorious future. God bless you.